I think we live. Let's give them a few seconds. Let the thousands and thousands roll in here. I think we
Poor
live.
old nigga by the thousands.
You know what I'm saying? By the millions.
We back like cook crap, boy. They tried to get us.
Yeah.
They
Yeah,
tried
that
it.
cook crack did the streets get dirty.
Yeah, they don't look. Them people don't like that truth, man. You get out here get the spearing the truth. Some people don't want to hear that, man. Them people lock that shit away and put it in the archives.
You want to
They
be
don't,
lied to.
don't want the,
Lie to me.
don't want the unity, man. They don't want the people unifying and thriving, cuz. They don't want that. Because they know what
Hey,
comes
bro.
along. That's the end of them.
Hey,
No,
bro.
it's facts.
Hey, and that's a whole podcast in itself. You know what I'm talking about? I ain't even talk about the division between. Look, I ain't even talk about the division between the African foreigners that come over here and how they get to look at us all crazy and cross-eyed and cockeyed because we don't unify like they do, and then they won't unify with us because they got the propaganda put in their head that we don't unify together, and it's shit weird.
Yeah.
Mm.
Shit weird, bro.
We live though. I think we rocking everything. Well, let me check YouTube.
Yeah. Well, that's the division, though.
What's going
Me too,
on?
live.
We're back. YouTube's live. It is
I'm looking
figuring.
for it. I don't see it. It is.
Yep, we figuring conspiracy shit out. We had a slow start. We supposed to come on 9. It's 9:18. It's all good. We in here though.
We here though.
Episode
You know what I'm
71.
talking about?
Today's gonna
I'm getting
be
YouTube,
somewhat
Instagram
of
popping.
freestyle. You know, freestyle slash whatever. You know what I'm saying? We took a week off, but we back. And what's going on? How's everybody
Kinda.
doing? What's going on, King?
We've
What
been
you up
recording
to?
now.
Huh?
Unified thriving, dog. You know what time it is. I'm always about the good stuff. I'm always about the good movement. Can you see me? Can you hear me?
Now we can.
I'm with the shits tonight. You know what I'm talking about? I'm with the shits. Chevron and them. What the fuck, bro? Cause what's going on with you?
You know the usual, man. We truth seekers, man. That's what we do the most. You know what I mean? Trying to get the people something to talk about, something to hear. Just pay attention, people. Because sometimes it's things you can miss by not paying attention. So please do. And
Mm-hmm.
share.
Facts. What we get into? What's the Chevron? We gonna jump into videos? You want to explain it? I don't really know. Come around election years.
Yeah. Put us on
I
game,
try
cause
to not listen to nothing. I try to keep my head down. But what's
True
Chevron about?
indeed. Basically we dealing with a bunch of fictitious companies that has taken place inside of the corporation of the United States who have basically made their own rules, such as DMV, the court system, child support,
Mm.
a lot of places. I give you an example, Father, when I say DMV. If you go in DMV to get tags for your vehicle, they will tell you what you have to have insurance. And there, they don't just pull in a third party in order to do business with you. That's
And it's a
illegal.
law, right? They made it a law.
It's illegal. You basically pulled in a third party in order for me to render and use your services. You can't do that. You get what I'm saying? So it's basically digging into a lot of the business that have been operating under their own law, which is not the law of the land. Because basically, people, we're getting back to the law of the land, not no maritime law or nothing like that. You get what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Basically, talk about how they say felons are felons. You're not a felon. Because honestly, according to the land of the law, no court system can take away any of your rights given to you by somewhat what we call God. No one can take. Get what I'm saying? So all that
Right.
shit is fiction. All that's coming down, and we're gonna get to the bottom of it.
No, that's fact. And the DMV is a huge one because, like you said, the DMV, like when it comes to insurance, right? Yes, it's a good thing to have, but they force it upon you, especially even if you can't afford it. Like it's like they make a law that says no matter your financial situation, in order to drive a vehicle, you have to have insurance, and it's got to come out your pocket. It's not state provided. It's not government provided.
Or
You know what I'm saying?
no, or see, this is what, or you can pay for get DMV. So here's the crux of it, right? If you don't want to get the third party involved, you just pay DMV $500 for the year, and you can just drive with an uninsured motor vehicle.
That's true.
No, but if you get pulled over, they give you that fee every time.
Mm.
Or you
No.
can
You
literally
pay
just
one
pay them.
time,
There is a $500 fee
500
though.
off top, 500 off top, and you're taking responsibility for your vehicle. So if you don't get in an accident in a year, ain't no issues. But if you get into an accident, you just got to be responsible for paying for it.
Right. Who got that? Who got thousands of dollars for an accident? You know what I'm saying?
You know, but who wants to keep paying for something for what if? You know, that's a lot of money going into a what if situation. And you look at it, that what if got so many fucking insurance companies around this world, man. Look how big they are.
Mm-hmm.
Look how they are just taking money on basically a promise or hoping some shit happens. I don't want to invest my money and hoping something's gonna happen, man. I don't. If I invest my money in the stock, I ain't hoping that this shit gonna boom, nigga. I want it to boom. I ain't hoping. Come on, man.
What about this one though? How where you know you got to go get your ID, you get your ID, you get your driver's license, but then if your license expire, right, you can't use it to drive. So like then you're forced to go back, renew it. But if you've been driving for 10, 20 years and your license expire, why do you need that piece of paper or that card to say you're able to drive? They force you to go back, give them more money, renew your license, and then if you get caught without driving without a license, now you know what I'm saying they there's all type of bullshit surrounding that part. Like there's a lot of people out there, qualified drivers, for whatever reason their license is not renewed. You know what I'm saying? And they can't get caught driving. But it's like, why though? You got to pay all this money to get your license back, and it's retarded. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of things like that, and it's a small thing. Some people say it's inconvenience. Others, it's life changing. You know what I'm saying? People can't work. People can't drive. They can't be, do certain things. But a lot of that stuff is not. There's common sense laws, and then there's some laws that are just like suppressive as fuck, and is made to just keep certain people down for whatever fuck reason. You know what I'm saying? Like child support.
So,
We can get into child support, but
so Emporia, we all over Virginia. Emporia, their city's revenue, their top, I think, 85 or 90% of their city revenues from traffic stops.
That's crazy.
Emporia ain't big as Norfolk.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm talking about? So, and
That's
then
extortion.
the elite, bro, the elite people or the people who know better, who got the ducats, just think about them. They don't even drive, right? So they don't even subject themselves to most of those type of street. They got a driver, right? And then he protected because he doing business. He working. He not even traveling. You know what I mean? Like, and they know better because they in bed with it or whatever. So they benefit from it.
No, that's a fact. There's a lot of bullshit surrounding some things.
Especially in small towns like Emporia, see, and 90% of the people they pull over got plates that don't belong there to Virginia. Right. They are told to pull over. Island Southampton County does it too. They are told to pull over tags that's out of town. Because who the fuck is coming all the way back from Miami or anywhere else to dispute a traffic ticket? What are they gonna do?
Pay that shit.
Nobody should pay.
Yeah, so that's why they make their quota off of out of town cars. But the thing about when you said Flock about the license and about it expiring because it has a date on it due to the fact of it's a contract. So that's why when it expires, you can't drive without that contract. That's just like you can't do business once your contract expires. Mm-hmm. So that's Black's Law Dictionary for license basically is saying permission to break the law. Because without a license, you can't break the law.
Right. So let's jump into some videos. Hey. Maybe we get some people to explain the Chevron stuff. Let's see what we got going on.
I got locked up because my license was suspended, and they ain't even let me know. I was driving on a suspended license for about a year and a half, boy.
No, that's
cool. Pulled me up, went to jail. The judge said, I'm going to give you 365 days, and I'm going to suspend 360. Man, I was in that bitch counting my ass off.
No, that's crazy, bro.
You know how we have three branches of government, judicial, executive, and legislative, and they're supposed to be co-equal, checks and balances? Well, the Supreme Court just gave itself, the judicial branch, more power, and at the same time took significant power away from the executive branch in a ruling that is going to change everything for all of us. So stick with me. This is a long video, but I promise it is important. So if you don't have time to watch it right now,
how long you
favorite
talking
it, do whatever you have to do, and come back to it when you have a few minutes.
About
In
6
a
minutes.
6-2
We'll go like
ruling,
halfway.
The conservative majority just shattered the 40-year precedent of the Chevron doctrine. Now, I know you've been hearing a lot about this already, but I'm going to show you a real example of how this works so you can see exactly how this is going to apply to you. So Justice Kagan wrote the dissent with Justice Sotomayor. For the record, Justice Jackson recused herself from this case because she was involved in it while she was still a federal district court judge. This bombshell ruling came down yesterday in 2 cases. Both were questioning the legal authority of a federal agency to interpret laws that Congress passes. Since the country's founding, federal agencies have been responsible for taking the laws that Congress passes, interpreting them, and then figuring out how to apply them to the real world. Well, lots of people and companies sue the government because they don't like the way the agencies interpret and implement those laws. So in a 1984 Supreme Court ruling, the justices created a legal test that basically says, when there's ambiguity in a law and there's a question about the agency's interpretation of it, judges should generally defer to the federal agency. The theory was these federal agencies are staffed by people who work for the government, who are experts in their field and understand, based on their experience, how to apply new law to the real world.
AKA
I know
corruption.
that doesn't sound like a big deal, but what you might not know is when Congress passes laws, the process generally resembles something like this. I'm the big ideas person, you agency. You figure out the details. So here's a real example. The Clean Air Act was originally passed into law in 1963. Now, it's been updated multiple times, but in the original law, Congress's big idea basically was we should probably have clean air in the United States, and we should probably set a standard for what is considered clean, and we should also probably put some kind of cap on the amount of pollutants that these big corporations in our country can spew into the air. But when it came to the details, like what should the standard for clean air be, and at what level should pollution be capped, and how often should those caps be updated, Congress left the details up to the environmental protection.
And that's how you get corruption.
Lawmakers know they aren't air quality experts. They just know they want clean air, so they left it up to the experts to figure out how to get there. So let me read to you from the actual law so you can see how vague most bills are written. You're in for a treat. The administrator shall, within 90 days, publish and from time to time thereafter shall revise a list of categories of stationary sources. So those are building structures or facilities capable of creating pollution. He shall include a category of sources in such list if, in his judgment, it causes or contributes significantly to air pollution, which may reasonably be anticipated to endanger public health or welfare. Within 1 year after the inclusion of a category of stationary sources in a list under subparagraph A, the administrator shall publish proposed regulations establishing federal standards of performance for new sources within such category. So when the EPA did what Congress told them to do, you better believe the coal industry sued, the oil industry sued, and everybody under the sun on that list came out of the woodwork to also sue. They don't want to be regulated. That cuts into their profits. But in the past, when they went to court, the Chevron doctrine would have been applied. And generally, with some exceptions, the courts would have said, well, Congress's big idea was they wanted clean air, and they told the EPA, which is full of scientists and experts about clean air, to figure it out. So if they say those specific buildings, structures, and facilities are the sources of pollution, sorry, coal industry, sorry, oil industry, you lose. But in yesterday's majority opinion, the Chief Justice says the Chevron doctrine is over. He writes, perhaps most fundamentally, Chevron's presumption is misguided because agencies have no special competence in resolving statutory ambiguities. Courts do. The framers anticipated that courts would often confront statutory ambiguities and expect that courts would resolve them by exercising independent legal judgment. This means in the future, when there's a question about the sources of air pollution in the coal or oil industry sues, the courts are not going to defer to the expert opinion of the EPA. The case is going to have to be heard from both sides equally, and then the judge is going to have to make a determination. But this isn't just going to apply to the EPA. It's going to apply to everything. Literally every law Congress passes
everything is up for grabs.
Vague. They're the big ideas people, not the details people. Congress delegates those details to these agencies because they know they're not the experts. So this ruling will have ripple effects on everything in your life. Healthcare, cars, food, Social Security, taxes, criminal statutes, your job, your student loans. I mean, I could go on and on. So people who support yesterday's ruling say this is a huge win. They say the Chevron doctrine had to go because these agencies were just getting too big and having too much power. But in her dissent, Justice Kagan lays out the chaos we're all about to see and questions whether the courts should have this much power. She writes, Congress knows that it does not, in fact, cannot write perfectly complete regulatory statutes. It knows that those statutes will inevitably contain ambiguities that some other actor will have to resolve and gaps that some other actor will have to fill. And it would usually prefer that actor to be the responsible agency, not a court. Agencies report to a president, who in turn answers to the public for his policy calls. Courts have no such accountability and no proper basis for making policy. As if it does not have enough on its plate, the majority turns itself into the country's administrative czar.
So, I gotta say something about this because it's almost like, I don't know where you went. Oh, there you go. It's almost like we're going, you know, they've been talking about the reset, the Great Reset and all this stuff. It's almost like we kind of, with this, we're going to some type of reset where everything is up for grabs. All previous legislation is up for re-argumenting. You know what I'm saying? But when I hear stuff like EPA and all these agencies, to me, right, a lot of times we know these agencies can be bought by corporations. You know, so when you talk about EPA right. and they do things to coal or to gas or, you know, or whatever, right, that's lobby money behind them. So at the same time, you know, they say, oh, we're the experts, we know. They getting paid just like everybody else to be corrupt or to whoever's the highest bidder to pass laws that you know, support them. You know what I'm saying? So it's like they stripping them of that power and now it's going back to the courts and it has to be re-argued again. And hopefully, you know, both parties can argue off of the merits of the argument and not necessarily who's got the most money. That's the way I see it.
It gives you a victim now, which basically brings the court back to common law instead of maritime. You know, bringing people in courts behind, you know, a corporation, but there's no corporation there to show up for while we're here. You get what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Now, real right to bring the two parties into the courtroom and really argue the fact. Because now, what everybody has been doing is when you go into court, they're like, well, hold on. They're challenging the jurisdiction. Are we maritime or common? You get what I'm saying? Because first, maritime is tied to the all capitals, what is the business part of you. So if we here on maritime law, then okay, you basically got us in a situation that, you know what I'm saying, we shouldn't be in. Because first of all, y'all not going to admit that we're here on maritime. So you're going to want to try to stick and say we're in here common law. Common law requires a victim. There is no victim here to say, hey, I ran this red light. Who is here to say I did that? The red light can't show up and say that you're here. Now, right. the crazy thing about the maritime, though, a business cannot sue basically, if put it like this, on maritime, you're a business, okay? Now, the corporation, which is the all capitals of you, okay, so now you're that I ran light. You cannot bring the red light to court saying that I ran the red light. So at the end of the day, there's nobody to challenge.
There's no victim.
You're not gonna. Oh, you're not gonna put. You get what I'm saying? By telling them it's calling in law, but then we got a right to confront our accuser. The light can't come, so case dismissed, case thrown out. That's why we tread on that level of asking what jurisdiction we in, and a lot of judges is not going to really tell you. You really got to be able to kind of force your issue on what jurisdiction we're tied to. Because maritime is all capitals with the business unit. Common law or the land, which is what we're getting back to.
Right, and I think this is maybe more of that opening the pathway for that. You know what I'm saying? Because like we talk about the CDC. Let's talk about the CDC real quick. We know the CDC dropped the ball. I'm not going to get into it because we're on YouTube. But agencies like the CDC, who had this power to push policy that they were pushing, right? you know what I'm saying, with the money they had and the support they had, and basically the tyranny,
advertising sponsors.
right? All of that, right? You know what I'm saying? So now CDC loses that power. So if something happens again, they got to go to court and have the other side, the opposing side, dish it out in a courtroom, which should have been happening before. But of course, the agencies had this power. So for me personally, I think this is good. I think we should go back to the drawing board on a lot of shit, on a lot of laws. There is obviously argument to be made for obviously laws that are common sense, that are for the better good of everybody. But half the time,
like
what they say, don't get me started on that. Half the time, what they say, is good for us is really not, because somebody's paying them to say that. You know what I'm saying? And they're the agency. They have the experts. They have the scientists. They should know, right? And then we get into these issues where we put our trust in these authorities, and they end up fucking us. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, well,
so
you know what I'm saying?
Let's take it to the courts too, though. So now let's think about two people, two businesses, two entities going to court, right? Two people bring their own experts, right, to prove their side of the story, right? Prove their argument, enhance their argument, right? But the judge know plaintiff A, he don't really rock with plaintiff B. At the end of the day, discretion is a hell of a term.
Mm-hmm.
Discretion in the court is some trash. If you don't know what I'm saying, then it's probably
that's another issue though. Judges are supposed to be nonpartisan.
Fair.
Right.
Right. But that discretion word will get you hemmed up. That discretion word will get you the short and the stick. Regardless, and then you don't act like they can't be bought.
That's true.
So it gotta be a fine line as to where we can have some non-paid for professionals, industry professionals, right, in one space, but also have, because the judges don't know no better. The judges know law.
Right.
They don't know,
but they're supposed
standard.
In a courtroom though, if you have two sides, they're supposed to judge based on the arguments. You know what I'm saying? Not throw it to an agency and say, this is so like what she was saying is like they make these laws with these huge questions. It's like a blanket law. We want clean air. Okay, who's going to do that? Throw it to EPA and then let them do it. And then they got the corruption. They got the warring between industries.
I'm saying let's find a balance, because even if we do come to court with our professionals arguing on our side, the judge don't know who to believe, because we've seen people present some pretty damn great arguments and be wrong as fuck. But you wouldn't know no better if you not educated in that particular field.
That's true.
But the thing about
the judge can get bamboozled.
It takes the DA out of the courtroom, because now the DA be playing the Commonwealth Attorney, District Attorney. They play the victim role. You get what I'm saying? When there's no victim present, it takes them out of the courtroom, because you got to understand. First of all, when you go into a court case, you battling the judge and the Commonwealth Attorney, who is also paid by the same people. Not only that, if you can't afford an attorney, now your attorney is all paid. You're dealing with three people, literally three people in the courtroom that's paid by the same people. How do you win a case like that? You get what I'm saying? It's better you battling somebody, a live person, and not the Commonwealth or the district attorney. You get what I'm saying? Bring me somebody in here that has to prove what they're saying, and not you just going off of
what I'm saying.
Right. I know. In that case, I feel like, hopefully you get the best of the best for both sides, for whatever case it is, two corporations, two agencies, whatever the case, and they make the best arguments for whatever. So for instance, like the clean air shit, or like coal, or like, there's some people that are saying fossil fuels isn't as bad as everyone's making it out to be. And when I say everyone meaning the lobbyists, the people that are paying to shift everything over to electric, right? To EV, figuring shit out. That's all we're doing. We just figuring shit out. But even global warming and climate change, there's scientific arguments against it, saying it's natural. What's happening now isn't because of humans, isn't because of us. It's because of something that's happening on the earth. So let's say there's
a whole other side of saying
Right. Let's say there's a case, and we're gonna hear arguments again. Get the best of both sides. Duke it out again instead of throwing it to an agency. Because I'm saying when you throw it to agency, and you get motherfuckers who are not elected in there, who can get paid to be corrupt and to do whatever corporations want. That's where you get the corruption. That's where you get the bullshit. That's where you get CDC pushing out bullshit to the people. That's where you get the WHO and I mean WHO's something else, but you get vaccine mandates. I probably shouldn't have said that. You get these dumb things.
How do you suggest fairness between your professionals? Because again, each industry has people who believe that the earth is naturally warming itself up or cooling down, but then there's a whole other side of people who say, no, we're doing it because of A, B, C, and D. And every time one side wins, the other side is going to appeal because they want to set the precedent. And once they win, the other side is going to appeal because they want to set the precedent. So how do you make that fair?
It's crazy because I could sum it up for them. I mean, the earth is heating up. We know that, but they're helping it. They're taking advantage of the situation. Give me a situation, a bad situation for them that they didn't take advantage of. They know that the earth is heating up. So now they have implemented what we call their simulation and really heating this motherfucker up to the point where you're burning everything that it touches literally. So listen, these how these people is. You know what I'm saying? They play both sides. The lobbyists. It's all about the money.
That's true.
If money wasn't, there would be no laws to the point where we would have the laws of the land, but we wouldn't have these stupid laws implemented on us due to where we live. Different states, different states got different laws. Goddamn, how is that possible? If it's illegal there, it should be legal here. You get what I'm saying? It don't make sense. Mm-hmm. That's the part that bothers me. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It makes sense. We got to get back to the law of the land. These people giving us all these laws that they made up, that they was paid to push, the governors, the senators, they in people's pockets. We know that. You get what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. We got to get the money. We got to get the money out. We got to get the money out of politics, the money out the courtroom, the money out of not corporations, but the money out of, the law system, the branches, the court system. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. Maybe this is a means towards that.
It'll kill everything. If you take the money out of all, everything disappears. The court system, the police, basically the government, all that shit disappears, man.
Hey, Frank, don't nobody work for free? Ain't nobody working for free. No clerks in the office, not working for free.
No, I'm not talking about money out of them doing their job. I'm talking about the influence, the lobbies,
That money pays for them jobs.
That money goes to individuals. That money goes to the CEO of a gas company or the CEO of an electric car company.
But they're divvying out some to the judge, the lawyers, the bailiffs. Everybody get a piece of that money.
That's the corruption part. We're saying that's bad.
That's the free work. That's the free work because they don't get them. They don't get them under the table bonuses. What am I doing here?
Hopefully serving the fucking people.
But think about
if you're a judge.
So if you run for president, I think all you got to do is raise $50,000. Now you basically got to go around and be able to accumulate $50,000. I think it's 50 or 100. I think it's 50 though. To be able to run for president, anybody can give you that money. You get what I'm saying? You basically going around and extorting people out of their money to be able to have the money to run. You get what I'm saying? So money is implemented in every single thing that we do. Taking that away shuts down the whole system completely. Jobs is done. You get what I'm saying? Especially the ones that are being paid to do their jobs on the side. You get what I'm saying when I say paid on the side? Which means you're not doing it for the people. You're doing it for the money. You get what I'm saying? Yeah. It will cease. It will really cease. Understand is a certain group of people that made this monetary structure to keep themselves on top because that's the only way that they could survive on top.
I know there are a lot of them. They're upset about this now because a lot of power that they've had for decades now is up for grabs, You know, they may have to go back to court, plead the case again. They could lose that case. So I know.
Yep.
I feel like I think this is good to just reevaluate a lot of shit that people have just been blindly accepting for a long time. That's how I'm looking at it. Like, let's go back to square one. Let's do these arguments. Let's do these court cases. Let's do this shit again, because we've known for a long time now that shit got crazy, shit got corrupt. Science that we believe is made up and bullshit is out there hurting the people. For instance, the fucking food pyramid. Whoever put the food pyramid out, I'm sure it was an agency, federal FDA, whatever the fuck. They put bread and grains and starches on the bottom and said, you need to eat 5-6 servings of this a fucking day. Like, somebody made that decision based on science or based on big pharma, based on big pharma's need to get motherfuckers in hospitals. That's the type of shit that this reverses. You know what I'm saying? It's like these decisions that's been hurting us for decades can now be re-looked at and hopefully argued on the merits of the truth and not on the merits of who got the fucking most money.
But when they talk about American Heart Association,
thank you.
And them in there,
prime example, and you know this.
They know that the food that they recommend on their website, that these are heart healthy foods and menus, are causing heart issues by the millions.
And they're in authority on this.
But what I'm saying is, yeah, take them out the picture. But you can't just have Joe Blow in the black robe make a decision either, because he just as greedy, hungry, corrupt, uneducated as the other side.
No, this would be a perfect example. Perfect example. Go back to court. You got the Heart Association, and then people that are saying the food that they're pushing is bad for the heart. And then go back to the science and then prove through studies or whatever how people that eat this food have heart issues, and people that eat this food don't have heart issues. And then let the judge decide based on the arguments again to be like, okay, well, you've proven to me that vegetables and fruit is good for your heart. So let's push that out. To all this bullshit that you've been pushing for decades, you can't do that anymore because it's not true, right? And so then the Heart Association has to rethink their messaging, change the shit. Shit like that we should be doing. Right. But we stuck on this.
But that's how they got into power in the first place. They lawyers or they scientists were paid to say, no, our research says this.
I know, but the judges threw it.
The same people you're talking about.
I don't know. The judges threw it to them. They gave them the power. They just said, "Hey, you're the agency. You take care of this."
They only got that power by proving their research was legitimate, right? Look, they locked Dr. Sebi up for curing people, but he couldn't say the cure word, right? So what I'm saying
making my argument for me.
I'm saying that the researchers that you're talking about lost to the Heart Association the first time. That's how they became the authority.
We got to look at history in that. You could be right. But at the same time, okay, so they lost, and then boom, for decades they had the power. You know what I'm saying? Unchecked.
The precedent, yeah.
Unchecked. Yeah. The motherfuckers going wild. Oh, the beef industry is giving them mad money, saying, "Hey, tell them that they can eat a steak once a week or twice a week. It's good for their heart. Mm-hmm. Here you go. Here's some fucking money for that." And they just been going crazy. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So this is good.
I think have a glass of wine, yeah.
I think wine too. I think this is good to go back to the drawing board. Maybe let's do this again. Maybe we can get the right answers the second time around. Yes, there's going to be issues. Yeah, there might be, bullshit we got to deal with in the meantime. But if we can go back to the drawing board and start these arguments again and try to get to the truth this time, hopefully, I think it's for the better. But if we keep the same bullshit around.
But here you go. Like I said before, though. Yeah, let's say the Heart Association loses this time, right? And the true green eaters win. What's going to stop the big money from revamping their argument and appealing and coming back with different facts? You know what I'm saying? So now here you go. The winners going to be fighting the same fight with the same information and data. They going to come back with some brand new, whole new counterattack that they ain't be able to see. Now they be back in charge. And they money much longer than, you know what I'm talking about? So I'm with you, but it's a slippery slope.
I
Yeah.
just look at it. Nowadays you can look at the ingredients. Fuck that. You look at the ingredients and every ingredient on whatever you eat tell you what causes what. You get what I'm saying? That should be enough for an argument in the court of law right there. If I can look up, hey, this right here on this bottle that y'all serving me saying is good for my heart, but yet I see is a carcinogen, causes cancer, and so on and so forth. That should be my argument one right there.
Mm-hmm.
You know
The
what I'm
other
saying?
one is like, in certain foods, like was it factories for like pigs and cows? How
Yeah,
and for milk, for example, there's a threshold how much blood and pus can be in the milk. Who decided that? A motherfucker with power, and the milk industry was paying them to say, hey, tell them it's good, and then we eating drinking pus and blood. You know what I'm saying?
or exactly, because they figured, hey, the cow is producing more pus and blood, so hey, no need tell them about it. We're just gonna put it in there. They're gonna drink it regardless. Or they're just like the scientists that study the frogs that reproduce. The men frogs, once given estrogen, what happens to the frog after it's given that? It started producing eggs. It was turning fucking male frogs into female frogs.
Hermaphrodites.
Yes,
Yeah.
he took the information back to the people, said, hey, this is what's going on with the estrogen levels in the frog when you increase it and give it to them. They said, well, okay, we'll take it. Well, we're going to discredit you. You're no good. We don't want to hear what you got to say. And they still in the food. You get what I'm saying? Everybody running around here eating high levels of estrogen in the food. And we know what happens when estrogen levels are high. We got all this femininity running around, and people don't understand what's going on. Check the food. You get what I'm saying?
Facts.
But it's a marketing scheme because it works in somebody's favor. That's just like the protein. Hey, eat the meat. Eat the meat. It's good protein for you. You need it for your body. No, the fuck you don't. A gorilla don't. How the pigs and shit off the tree.
Elephants. Hell yeah. There's so many animals that.
Come on, man.
It's ridiculous. No, you're right.
You get what I'm saying? Like I said, we eat the things we eat because people figure they could make money off of it. You feel what I'm saying?
Told us to, yeah.
And they do.
Vegetables and shit ain't pushed as much because they figure they can't. They're cheaper than a lot of the other food. Reason being, they know they can't get people to say, you know what? We're gonna put this delicious salad on TV and have the world eating salad. You know everybody ain't doing that shit, but they put that stinking ass hamburger up there, nice and neatly stacked, and
fluffy bread. That shit bouncing around and it'll never look like that.
And you get that shit and you set on it.
They even put the E. coli in the salad to make it even worse.
Come on, man. See, you see what I'm saying? It's a money grab. Especially in the United States, because everything here is for sale. You get what I'm saying? I tell people, I'm not being funny when I say this, but this is real shit. Pull up pictures of beaches in the United States 15 years ago. And then pull up beaches now and look at the difference in people. It will fuck your head up. Everybody has, the weight hasn't fluctuated so rapidly, it's crazy. But then you do it to other countries and theirs did not move a tad bit. Everybody weighs the same. Only in the United States, where in 15 years, people went from being slim to being obese. You get what I'm saying?
Even worse, in the 60s, there were no real fat people. Like, you look at pictures from the 50s and 60s and before. Then around the 60s and 70s, when the FDA pyramid came out and they said eat bread, motherfuckers blew up. You know what I'm saying? And then the other thing is the other countries don't have the same ingredients. They outlaw ingredients and ban ingredients that we eat in our food, that they put in our food here. Who's making that decision? Somebody in another country is making a decision to ban some shit, but the same people in this country ain't making that decision. Why? Because the big pharma lobby, big pharma needs motherfuckers to go to the hospital and buy pills and drugs. So they're like, hey, put in this fucking chemical in your food. Here's some money to do it. Tell people it's good. Tell them it's a threshold and tell them it's below the threshold. Put it out there. Let them eat the fucking food. Go to the fucking hospital. Big pharma. You know what I'm saying? That's where we're going.
All right. So solution hour. Solution time. What kind of solutions we got, yo? What we doing? What we can do to combat it? What we can do to educate and inform the folks? So what you got for us, Cuzzo?
What we combating first? This Chevron case.
Misinformation.
Yeah.
I tell you, it's like this. People, we at a time right now where there's no time for bullshit. Honestly, to me, I figure like we have been painted as the enemy. Real shit. You get what I'm saying? So you got to start thinking in that strategized type mental to be able to understand what's going on. And you really have to start to pay attention to what you eat, what you drink, and what you do. You get what I'm saying? Because a lot of these things that they have set for us are nothing but traps, and we're falling literally in them. Participation will lead us straight to the grave. We have to stop participating. We have to get back to what it is that the human people supposed to be doing.
Mm-hmm.
This ain't it. Nowhere near it. Because everybody know and everybody sees what the fuck going on. And if you agree that everything is okay, something is really wrong with you.
That's a bar.
Basically.
I say just continued education, learning alternative. You know, we know the defaults. What they tell us is good for you. Remember the milk campaign in the 90s, got milk. Meanwhile, milk is giving you bone cancer, and it's just the worst thing.
Bitch over there.
It's the worst thing for you, right? And they pushing milk. Okay, when you learn better, you do better. I haven't drunk a glass of fucking cow milk in maybe 15 years. And then the few times where I accidentally drink it or I forget or it's in something that I didn't realize, my stomach gets fucked up. You know what I'm saying? So it's you got to learn, know better, do better to the best of your ability. Because again, a lot of shit is forced upon us. It's put in the stores. We don't really have a lot of choice on certain things. You got two choices between two bad things. Choose the third option, which is to abstain or to just eat
Biden
better.
Trump.
Huh? Well, yeah, exactly. That's a perfect example.
Trump.
It's still the same shit. You know what I'm saying? Don't participate. How we talked about that before with the Matrix. Don't participate. Don't participate in the tomfoolery. Do what, if you learn something and you know it's better for you, do the research and fucking just change your life in that direction. Don't eat the bullshit. Don't do whatever. But, people got to learn. And there's a lot of people that push back on certain things because they're just too used to how they live and they're just used to what's normal. And they can't think outside the box. And it's like when you tell a motherfucker that milk is bad for you, they be like, but that's not what that type of stuff. It is what it is. I'm just ranting now. But, yeah.
So,
do your best.
You good. So, to piggyback off that, both of y'all, unify and thrive. God come to separate. God has come to separate. So, like Frank say, if you go tell a motherfucker, hey, dog, that milk making your stomach upside down, that fucking cheeseburger ain't the best for you. You can enjoy yourself right now and then, but you had 3 cheeseburgers today. Chill out, bro. You had 3 cheeseburgers, 3 large fries, and 3 Cokes today. Chill out, bro. And they hit you with a no, I'm cool, I'm good, I got it. God has come to separate. You know what I'm talking about? Mm-hmm. So you take it upon yourself to put some distance between yourself. Because you don't want to be near that star when it implodes. Right? That's all I got. Separate it. Be aware of what's going on. Take control, personal responsibility for your own actions, for your own intake, for your own output, for your own goddamn creations. Take responsibility for how you contribute to and not participate in. If your friends want to participate in watching the NBA game every week and you want to study quantum physics, hey, clearly there needs to be separation. And you can go watch the game with them, but if they ain't willing to go study the quantum with you, you got your answer. You know what I'm talking about? You got your answer. It's okay to be a part of sometimes, but if they're not willing to come be a part of what you got going on either and trying to grow and elevate with you, you got your answer. Don't forget it. Unify and thrive, but only unify and thrive with who trying to unify and thrive with you. That's all I got, dog.
That's a bar. Episode 71 in the books. We appreciate you guys. We're going to be here next week. We started doing this live shit. We're not even doing like the Fridays anymore. I don't know. We should just keep this up. What y'all think? Let us know in the comments. Y'all like the lives on Wednesdays instead of Friday?
Talk to us.
I think
we need to do a 2-hour Jamie one day. We need a really good topic, though.
Yeah, we could probably. Yeah, that'd be dope. That would be dope. But we out. We appreciate you. Please like, share, subscribe, all the things. We still out here. Figuring conspiracy shit out.
Do that.
It is what it is.
Yeah.
Peace out.
Like, share, and comment, please.